I've been working with an app called Fuelin and the man behind it, Scott Tyndall, since January when I went on training camp in Australia. I had the best training block of my life up to that point, just in terms of energy and feeling. And over the last 7 months, working with Scott and Fuelin has helped me make changes to my diet, namely eating more inside and outside of training. And Scott has helped me form better fueling habits that are helping me sustain more consistent training than I've ever been able to do. I'm sharing the salient points from a recent conversation that I had with Scott. Please excuse the quality of the Zoom call, and hopefully you'll learn something valuable along the way that you can add to your own nutrition protocol.
How's things?
Good, really good, honestly. Yeah, just came off those races the other couple of weeks ago, and I feel like I really hit a great stride in training. Like I was just hitting really good training, feeling good. What I actually wanted to ask you about is I feel like since you and I have been working together, my nutrition habits in and out of training have been really good. And I think it's reflected in the way I felt during training. I think I'm generally having more carbs and handling carbs better during training. So like, 120, even up to 140 grams an hour is no issue. Although we haven't talked since those races. I came away from that feeling like 120 was sufficient, and I handle it well.
Look, I would say you train with 140 just for total calories and you feel comfortable. Yeah. And then for race, you drop down to 120 and feel absolutely like this is a breeze. So what you're doing, it's a bit like, you're doing above threshold sessions and you would never race at that, consistently. You be below. It's the same concept. So you're just like, you're taking 120 and you're like, oh, this is an ease. I feel fantastic versus, oh, I'm sort of pushing it in. Like I feel a little bit uncomfortable.
So my general nutrition habits since or outside of training, they've gotten, I'd say, progressively better. I don't know. There's probably still some low hanging fruit. And I think the thing I've identified with myself is I do very well when I eat more or less the same thing every day, or at least go to the grocery store with an exact list of the things I need. Because I feel like I used to go being like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to get today. There were some staples. So, pretty much every day I've some form of, I've settled lately on applesauce in the mornings. That's my easy, because I found it's basically like drinking liquid. It's so easy to get the carbs in. And
before your training
the
session.
snack. Yeah, the early snack.
Out here at the rail trail, 30K long run on tap. I've got my nerd belts with 80 grams of carbs in here. I'm gonna do 15K and then refill and then another 15K. I feel like in the past I would have done 30K straight with nothing. I feel like I have done many 2-hour long runs in the past with very little water, 0 carbs at all. And you can do it, you can have a good run, but it just destroys you for later on. So this is more about making sure I am not overdoing, I'm not overcooking myself for the race next week or the swim later today, any of that. So yeah, lots of mid-run fueling thanks to Nerd Belt and all black gore wear. Good thing it's not hot and the trail is shaded anyway, so that won't be an issue. Okay, that was really good. 30K, I averaged 349, or I think that's 606 or 607 per mile for 18.7-ish miles. Felt really good. Slight uphill for 7.5K, slight downhill times 2 with a stop to refill my nerd belts with sugar. And I had a good little push on the second time uphill and then cruisy back down. Yeah, very good. Time to go home and eat, recover. Okay, I don't want to make it look like I'm perfect because I'm not. And that's why I'm working with Scott and Fuelin, because nutrition is not a one-time fix. It's really like training. It's about doing good things consistently day in and day out. And not every training session can be great, and neither can every meal. Could I do 2 8-piece nuggets, an Oreo shake, and a large fries? Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. Thank you.
I did not know Burger King's fries were so good. While working with Fuelin and Scott is all about trying to optimize my nutrition, as you saw, I'm not perfect and I never will be. So to fill in the gaps, I've been taking Grunes. Grunes are the easy, portable, and tasty alternative to all those greens powders you may have seen, and there are 8 gummies in each pack because you simply can't fit an actual effective amount of nutrients into 1 gummy or 1 scoop. Plus, that makes it a fun treat that you can look forward to having, like a fruit snack. Grunes has a comprehensive and accurately dosed blend of over 20 vitamins and minerals. Research has shown, Research has shown that the ingredients in Grunes can increase healthy gut bacteria, reduce risk of cognitive impairment, reduce immunity-damaging free radicals, improve skin health, and help you grow thicker hair and nails. You'll also absorb way more of the nutrients in Grunes simply because a gummy form is way more bioavailable than a tablet like you may be taking for your current supplements. If you're interested in trying Grunes, you can get 45% off using the link in my description. Now, Burger King was a tasty, extremely high-calorie treat, but like I've been saying, my diet on the whole has generally been very, very solid.
And then breakfast is, it's like 4 slices of like a loaf of bread, like a sourdough, 4 eggs, big handful of arugula, and then a tin of sardines or mackerel.
Okay, back from the run, showered up. It's time for brunch.
I'm having that like every day, and I it's like a very consistent meal, and the arugula too. Just like I feel like I'm getting in more leafy greens with that, and then I don't really have a consistent like lunch, and then dinner is almost every single night is a whole bunch of rice. Most nights chicken, but probably 2 or 3 nights a week is some form of red meat, whatever the cheapest thing at the grocery store is. And then basically another handful of arugula. And I think what I feel like I'm missing is I don't consistently have like a good amount of fruits or vegetables every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think of what's an easy way for me to just create the habit in the same way that I've done, because I feel like I don't even think about breakfast anymore, and I love it.
I would alternate that breakfast with, say, like an oatmeal or an overnight oats. I would try and do that if you can. Are you open to that or not really? The reason I say the overnight oats in the morning is just to bump up that fiber intake, like the start of the day, which will be good. Like just the rolled oats is good from a cholesterol standpoint, blood sugar standpoint, all that. So you could do that. What I would suggest you do from a vegetable perspective, sheet vegetables, roast them. Sunday, just get like Kent pumpkin, squash, parsnips, sweet potato, normal potatoes, put them in the oven, then put them in Tupperware containers and just pick at them, add them to salads as you go to dinner and salads.
Okay.
That's a super easy way to get, again, higher glycemic, moderate glycemic vegetables into your diet.
So for me, I think I need to get down a list, find the ones that are probably the easiest or tastiest to cook or most convenient. And then I need to, whenever I go to the grocery store, I need these 5 or 6, I need this amount.
Yep.
And it's, not something I think about. And then I know exactly how much I need for the week. And so what's the amount, I guess, in terms of grams or of, that I'm looking to get? Because I guess, if I can just make one small improvement from here.
Don't go in grams. Yeah. Just go like literally fists of veggies. And like you can include your pumpkins and squashes, eggplants and broccoli, arugula, broccolini, all that stuff as fists. And just say, look, you're trying to get 2 fists of veggies on every plate.
On every plate?
That's right.
God, Jesus.
Start with lunch and dinner. Start with lunch and dinner.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've got one, so I'm at 2. I'm at 2 a day right now on average, maybe 2.5 a day. I get a pretty big one of arugula, I guess, but it'd be good to vary. So I'm 1/3 of the way there. So okay. Yeah.
What was the other thing? Okay, have it for fruit. Get a fruit bowl. Get a nice bowl. Apples and bananas. Just start with that. Apples and bananas, honestly, and just work out. You're aiming for 2 pieces a day. Okay, so you've got 7 apples.
So 1 apple,
bananas.
1 banana.
Correct. Oh, okay. Just start with that. Super easy, mate. 7 bananas, 7 bananas, 7 apples in there, and just start with that. That's a really good target. But get a fruit bowl and put it somewhere where you see it every day, like on your kitchen bench. So whenever you walk past it, you're like, I haven't had my fruit.
Yeah, I gotta get my fruit. Yep.
So it's got to make it visible. I reckon what you've just talked to me about and what you're realizing with your nutrition, like how you're identifying where you've improved, what you're doing and what you need to work on. Like, I think that's a great story to tell, man. Like your evolution as an athlete, not just race fueling, but what you're identifying about your habits and how you started
outside
to
of training.
Yeah, like
it's professionalizing.
Well, it is, and so I think you absolutely talk about like you're been practicing 140 with fructose glucose 1-to-1. You've worked on that, you've improved that. You're swimming, you're always on point with your nutrition in the pool, which is something that a lot of athletes struggle with. Your run is great, but then how you've changed, like, small oily fish because you understood the importance of them for your brain, your heart, how you're thinking about vegetables and fruits now. Like, that's so cool to hear, man.
So I hope you gained a little tip or some piece of valuable information from this, or at least enjoyed the conversation. You saw the good habits like my everyday breakfast and dinner, fueling and hydrating during a long run, adding vegetables into my diet, and you saw the not so good things like heading to Burger King after a long run, which in my opinion is fine as long as it's a relatively rare occurrence. Thanks for watching. I'll be back next with a recap of 70.3 Maine, where I just had a career best performance, thanks in no small part to working with Scott and fueling. Anyway, peace out. And also, don't forget, if you want to try Groons, there's a 45% discount at the link in my description. Thanks.